Okay, it says we're live. For those watching on YouTube, hang out for a minute. We got to do a little bit of housekeeping, and then we'll get this meeting going. This is the CommComm or Community Committee meeting for the Permissionless Software Foundation on March 24th, 2021. I'm just going to post this YouTube link to the Telegram group. Yeah. Okay, that should be about there. Oh, Dawn is joining.
Heyo.
Hey, Dawn, welcome. We're already live on YouTube, so just FYI.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the meeting. We're just getting it started, so let's do a quick roundtable here. I'll start. I'm Chris Troutner. I help found the PSF, and I maintain fullstack.cash. David, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm David R. Allen. I am doing business development for the Permissionless Software Foundation.
Don, you want to introduce yourself?
Don Wanton. I'm a general manager at Ava Labs and cryptocurrency enthusiast, PSF maximalist.
That's what I like to see. Okay, let's jump over to the agenda. It's going to be pretty short today. Right there. All right. You guys can see the agenda on your screen? Okay, sweet. All right, so yeah, it is March 24th. So on the agenda today, what we got going on is there's the third funding proposal, which we've had some discussion on this in prior CommComm meetings, and other people, other VIP members have mentioned that this would be a good thing to do, which is create a slush fund for bounties, tips, hackathon prizes, things like that. So there's a link here in the agenda, which takes you to psfoundation.cash/proposals for this slush fund. What we're requesting is 10,000 PSF tokens. We're expecting this to last for about a year. All the nitty-gritty details are in here, but we will do the airdrop for the voting tokens on the 25th, so tomorrow at 8 p.m. UTC, or I think it's roughly noon on the west coast of the US. And yeah, but that's basically the gist of it. This has been an idea that's been funded in the past by community members, of just having a slush fund that's specifically set aside for bounties, sort of unplanned marketing events, tips, and just community promotion, just so we have, you know, something to give rewards out on. Do either of you have any feedback on that?
So just to be clear, at the current price, it would be an approximate $500 towards that.
It'd be closer to 5,000 actually.
At
the current token price. So the idea is that these tokens would be minted and they'd be put into a multi-signature wallet. So it would take multiple members of the PSF management to sign off on it. And of course, I encourage feedback from the VIP members and the community in general on this topic, ways that this could be better. This can certainly be modified. But you know, these dollar amounts are really tough to nail down, because, you know, if the token price goes down, then that dollar amount goes down. If the token price goes up, then the dollar amount. We're not necessarily going to spend all the tokens. We'll use them, you know, at our discretion. It'll take multiple people to sign off on the decision. But at least we'll have something there. And we'll track all the expenses on a spreadsheet, and it will be available to any VIP member to review upon request.
Quick question, just for to like nail this down in my head. Is there anywhere on the website currently like a pie chart showing kind of like a distribution of like where, like for instance, you know, when the slush fund is added, is there going to be like a visual like sliver that we can kind of see?
Yeah, great question. So I email out at the start of every month a financial report for the VIP members, and there's a pie chart in there that that does show the current token, like what tokens are in the open market and what tokens are being held by like specific wallets under the control of the PSF. And so this will be added as one of the entries in that pie chart.
Okay, I knew I had seen one, but I couldn't remember where. So that makes sense. Now is it is it on the messaging platform?
Yeah, so go to message.fullstack.cache, and it's one of those encrypted emails in your read messages tab, and there will be a link to the file on IPFS.
Oh, there it is. I didn't read the second report. I'll read it later though. It would be super cool to have like email notifications too.
Yep. You're right. It would be super cool. That's definitely a feature I want to add. I know it really bugs me too. I hate it. Like unless somebody sends me a direct message on Telegram or something, like I don't know unless I check. And I mean, obviously something like an email notification. So that's the first feature I'd like to add to message.fullstack.cache is being able to put in your email address and then have the system send you an email notification when an encrypted email has arrived. So that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, maybe in the slush fund bounty, you know, get somebody to do a little email notification. It should be pretty simple. We have one on Avalanche where, you know, it's like a community project, but you know, it just looks at like you put an address in like a website, and then it like, you know, itself, it's like a centralized service, but it, you know, it monitors like that address, and whenever there's, you know, a transaction, it sends you an email, but you can definitely like specify like what it would contain. So I can't imagine it being too hard.
Yeah, it's not very difficult, and you're right. That's a perfect example of why we need a slush fund like this for bounties. We have developers in our community that have full-time jobs, and so and families, and they don't have the bandwidth to take on like a long-running obligation, but they do have free time occasionally, and they love to scoop up bounties. And so this is a good example. That's a good example of a bounty. I know like Stoyan in particular has fulfilled several bounties in the past, and he's really experienced with NFTs, and he has he's interested in doing a plugin for wallet.fullstack.cache to better display NFTs. And but he's also been very clear that, you know, he has a full-time job and a family, and so he really can only do bounties like small concise, well-scoped tasks. So that's really like what the majority of these funds would go towards. We also have historically used these funds for hackathon prizes, which is done well.
Cool.
Okay, so that's the next funding proposal. So the airdrop for that will go out tomorrow. So the next thing on the agenda is a roundtable, and I have a link here to the latest article on my blog about the research I've been doing for building an uncensorable API. And so I encourage people to go, if they are interested in this topic, go to troutsblog.com. Real quick to recap on the backstory of this, what really kicked this whole research off was a lady in China tried to use wallet.fullstack.cache. It's banned there. That was expected. She was able to access the front end over IPFS. So that was great because it informed us that IPFS does work in China. It can pass through the Chinese firewall, but that front end calls a back end. The back end's blocked. How do we get the back end also accessible over IPFS? That's like the thing that motivated me to do this research. It's been an ongoing process over the last couple months. This article has some videos. It shows off chat.fullstack.cache, which is our latest web app. It's a prototype. It's clunky. It's talked about in the video. The first video shows how to use the app, And then the second video is for developers. It kind of goes deeper into the code, but anyone can go and open this web app, and anyone else in the world who has that web app, those two computers, the web browsers, will find one another, and then you can start. You can even have public group chat, or you can enter into a private end-to-end encrypted chat just by pulling this app up on any web browser.
Mhm.
And so the idea here is the roundtable discussion I want to have is, how can our community make the most of this technology? I think it's incredibly powerful. It solves some very general problems, and to sort of get the gears turning there for people, one of the things we could do with this would be a decentralized exchange, because another piece of technology that's embedded this is this idea of Orbit DB, which is a peer-to-peer database. It's very similar to a blockchain, where everybody has a copy of the database, and then one of the modifications I want to make this database is where you would burn a PSF token to write to the database, and so that would accomplish a few things. It would increase the price of the PSF token. It would give the PSF the incentive to maintain the database and the software around the database. And there could be multiple databases for each application. So like a DEX would have its own database, and torlist.cache, which is for advertising websites, that would use the same technology, but it would be a separate database. And so there's a lot of use cases like that can use this tech, but would be a separate database. And if there's this pay to write feature for this database, then that gives the PSF incentive to maintain it and create, user-friendly software that works well. So anyways, that's where my head's at. And, I want to get your guys' feedback. I also just want to kind of give food to thought for the rest of the community who might watch this meeting. But yeah, do you guys have any thoughts on this and possibly other applications?
No, yeah, I don't know, like not a dev, so no comment.
Yeah, well, I'll have more updates on that as it progresses. It's still a progressing idea, and I really encourage anybody who's interested in this technology. What's been really nice about my pursuit in this technology is that I've been able to reach out to the Filecoin, the devs behind Filecoin, and the devs behind Textile.io, which is also a very Filecoin focused developer group, and they're very encouraged by the work that I've done on this. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from them, and sort of caught the attention of some of the thought leaders in that whole Filecoin ecosystem. They're keeping a pretty close eye on this, so I'm really it's nice to sort of wed some of these cross projects.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm really encouraged by that. I'm hoping to encourage some people from that area to join the PSF and play a more active role in the community. All right, well, that's the agenda. Do you guys have anything else you want to bring up?
I just should add that I'm not a programmer either.
Yeah, which is great. That's why I appreciate you guys participating on the CommComm, because we need the non-technical input.
Right. No, nothing too much to add. Like, obviously, I think the slush fund's like a great idea, obviously. So,
great.
Other than that,
great. Okay, well, I think we can wrap that up. I encourage people to in the community to continue to discuss the items that we talked about today in the Permissionless Software Foundation Telegram chat room. And if people aren't familiar with that, I'll put them in the show notes for the YouTube video, but you can also go to psfoundation.cash, scroll to the bottom. There's a link right there to the Telegram channel. And then there's also the VIP channel for people in the community who actually have skin in the game. And they're the ones who really get to drive these decisions. They're the ones who get the airdrop for the token, who get to vote. They're the ones who get to see the financial report every month. So if anybody who's watching this later and they want to have a more active role and have a bigger say, that's how you do it.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, cheers, guys.